Yep. Can't lie. My ass is ticklish. I got a ticklish ass. I've noticed a interesting trend with these new nest boxes. All the eggs tend to be in one box every day, and shut up! It differs by day. So in this one, it's the rightmost has what? 7 eggs, 1 egg, no eggs. No wait. Oh, there's a couple in there. But it seems like one nest box seems to be the favorite every day. Relax, baby. I'm just checking on you guys. How many broody hens can you stuff in one nest box? It always cracks me up to see a chicken jump up off the ground to get bugs in a bush or a tree. What are we doing, Bubba? What are we doing? We're designing an irrigation system. Fun, fun, fun. I actually designed it the other day. And now it's time to implement it. It's a good garage project for a nice hot day. She's already panting. Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, the 21st of June, 2018. And here's my first project for the morning. Basically, I designed a PVC irrigation system. Yeah, that's always been my Achilles heel, is figuring out a way to get about a 6,000 square foot garden adequately irrigated. I'm working on a farm pond way over there, but that's not ready. So, cut to the chase, I came up with a design for a system that is based on a 3/4 inch PVC manifold, and that manifold then has feeder lines for each raised bed that are 100 feet long. I've got the first 10 foot segment there for testing purposes. It's marked, it's drilled. You can kind of see the weep holes every foot. And right now I've got it set up for 6 rows, but they can go up to 8 or 9 or whatever. And I'm going to do some initial testing now because I'm not sure whether or not I want each of these lines to run the full gamut all the way down 100 feet, or maybe just 50 feet and then put a new base about halfway down. So in essence, it would be, say, 8 50-foot lines up in section A, the top, and then another feeder line and another manifold. And Hui, get your face out of there, sweetie. Hey, stop it. Another manifold for the bottom 50 meters or yards. We'll see. Anyway, first test, it's under pressure right now. I don't see any leaks. That's a good first sign. The whole system's turned off. I'll turn it on. That's a good sign. So pressurized, and I don't see any leaks all the way down. Perfect. Perfect. So let's turn this for. I'm gonna get wet here, but that's okay because it's higher now. Wow. Way too much pressure. But again, it's only a 10-foot segment instead of 100 feet. And it can be, I can control it. There we go. There we go. There you go. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. So every foot, it has 2 drip lines, 2 drip holes on both sides. So this, in this particular case, you would have plants on both sides of the main line going down the middle of the raised bed. My intention is to create a whole bunch of different feed lines. So I'm gonna call this a feed line. And the feed line can be configured for depending on what you plant. So it can be every foot, like this one is. I can do it every 6 inches. There's all kinds of different configurations. I'm also building it with a lot of flexibility in it. It's solid welded up here, but each of these feed lines is just a pressure coupler. So I can add and remove segments all the way up and down. So I'll have eventually a whole inventory of different patterns of watering, and depending upon what I plant, I'll select pattern A or pattern B or pattern C or whatever it is, and bolt it in, and off we go. But this is a good first test. Here's the process I'm following to create these half-inch row irrigation lines. So the objective here is to have water applied to the raised bed garden every foot, and that's what these lines mark. So the development process is I take a piece of half-inch PVC, I mark a line down an arbitrary top, right, all the way down the length, mark each foot increment, and then what I do is run each one of these lines, and I'll show you here in a moment, through a drill press over there, and drill tiny little holes. So each one of these marks represents a foot from the last mark, and then roughly 20 degrees off center. So I drill 2 holes, one on the right and one on the left, about 20 degrees off center. So obviously the hole on this side is going to water to that side of the pipe. The hole on this side of the line is going to water this way to the plant on this side of the pipe. So I get water applied every 12 inches on both sides of the pipe through 2 different holes. Probably can't tell from this video, but that's a tiny little drill bit that I'm using to drill these water holes in the PVC lines. It's a 1/16 inch bit, so it's just tiny. The guy I learned this from said, make sure you buy 3 to 5 bits because you're going to break them every now and then. I haven't broke one yet, but Dave's still young. Here's an interesting phenomenon. So I actually have created a 100-foot long water line, and I'm testing it. And if there's any hydraulic scientists out there that can answer the following question or explain this observation, I'll be curious to hear it. So up here on the so this line runs I don't know how many degrees, but it runs downhill. So down at the end is the low end, and up here is the high end. One line only, all the other ones are shut off. And what's interesting is on the top of the line here, if you look at the spread on these guys, that's throwing water about, I don't know, 2, almost 3 feet laterally off the pipe. But then as we go down the line, watch this. They get progressively, they're still watering all the way down, getting smaller. Down to about here. I think those are probably the smallest. Still, still emitting water, which is good. But here's where it gets interesting. As we get down at the end of the line, they get bigger again. So at the terminal ends of the water line, the beginning and the end, we've got a larger spread of water coming out of the pipe. And at the midpoint, there's less pressure, therefore less spread. So I don't know if it's like the Venturi effect. I'm gonna have to get into my science books and figure this one out. Alright, what that was just basically zeroing the new rifle. So again, it's a Springfield M1A, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. And you saw in an earlier video a couple days ago, I got the Vortex Viper PST scope mounted on it. Obviously, I think I did a good job with the scope mount. Evidence behind me. So I only put 20 rounds through that rifle today, and you just saw the last 10 of those 20. So it took me 10 rounds to get that rifle zeroed at 100 yards. That's a heck of a feat. I can't do that with every rifle. And then what you saw me do here was 5 rounds and 5 rounds, 4 center of mass, and the last one headshot on both sides. I'm fairly impressed with that rifle. I think I'll keep it. Sorry for the poor quality on this piece. I was trying to give you an idea of what the EBR-1 millirad reticle looks like on this scope at 2.5 magnification. Obviously I did a poor job. It's hard to get an iPhone to focus through a scope. Doesn't do justice to the quality, but there you go. That's the distance I was shooting from, 100 yards, which, I mean, those targets look pretty small to the naked eye. Through the scope, and I only shot this at 2.5 power and didn't twist it up to 10. So, you know, a little bit of augmentation, but still a distance. An interesting point. So that if that's 100 yards, this rifle is quite capable of shooting human-sized targets or whatever out to about 1,000 yards. So times 10 that distance. Maybe not today, but eventually we'll work up to that. Good start though. Pretty impressed. I have no idea what kind of bird this was. When I was setting up this shooting position here a couple minutes ago, I was like, oh no, I lost a chicken. I looked, I was like, nope, those are not chicken feathers. And then that freaked me out even more. I was like, God damn, I lost one of my ducks. And I went over and did a head count of the ducks, and they're all there. So I have no idea what kind of bird that was. I say was because obviously it's no longer. Hey guys, I've already posted a lot of content for one day, but I think I'm going to take an opportunity really quickly just to kind of do one more little piece, do another kind of product endorsement. If you're on a ranch or a farm or whatnot, or frankly many different places, you may run across fence posts like these kind of I-beam. We use these a lot for fences around here in the U.S. anyway. Pounded into the ground about 1.5 feet, sometimes 2 feet deep. They're easy to get in the ground with a sledgehammer, or we have things that you can pound on to get them in the ground. Getting them back out of the ground could be a royal pain in the butt. And that's where I came across this product from a company called High Lift. Same company that makes the High Lift jack that we use for off-road vehicles like I have on my truck. This thing's called a post popper. And if you can imagine, these things have been in the ground for probably years around this fruit orchard. And I want to take them out and cut all this debris down. And it was the previous owner of this property used it as a deer fence to protect this little orchard. I don't have that problem with deer anymore because of the dog and everything else. So I don't need the fence. So these, this is really just kind of like a fulcrum device that makes it this easy to remove an old and to remove and reuse, repurpose fence posts. You can dig them out with a shovel or whatever, certainly, but it's a lot easier with a product like this guy. High Lift Post Popper. If you have a need for such things, I would highly encourage you to pick one up.